Now though, I'm joined by Dunfermline band Magna. So we're here first of all to talk about the EP that you had out a couple of weeks ago. The only thing that is certain is uncertainty. Very snappy title. Where did that come from?
I made it up in the shower one morning, just racking my brains. That's what I came out with.
We were struggling a bit, to be fair, for the title, but he came to practice one day with that and I just liked it instantly.
It was going to be named after the first track, Keith in Revolt.
Well, that's what people tend to do with EPs. They'll just pick one song and that'll be the name of it.
It's like Arctic Monkeys, the first album, and that it's a statement. It's better to have a statement and just have it just named.
It's more memorable that way, isn't it?
Definitely. We're looking to go back into the studio maybe a couple of months' time and maybe record one or two songs. Just Adam Smith again,
There's a lot of bands that book up, so it's quite hard to find a bit of space. But as soon as there is, then you just go in, really.
Right, so this is your first release, isn't it? So history of the band, you were telling me just before we come on air that it's only like last year you got together.
It was March we got together.
Me and Rory, we used to go and jam, me and him, just casually, just something to do. I was at college with Craig. I was in a bad one before we were in Magna.
Yeah.
I just asked him doing one day, and he knew Burnley because they live in the same village. And then we had a release when we were a 4-piece, but
it's a demo.
It wasn't good. We took it all down. It was the early stuff. But we got Mark in the band. Once we got Mark in the band playing rhythm, that's when we really became the band we are now.
When did Mark join? When did you come on board, Mark?
I joined June this last year was when I joined. I think that was my first gig that month as well.
At the Green site, and I think that was our first gig.
I snapped a string in the first song.
Not a good start then.
It was brilliant.
You played lots of gigs locally, like PG Malloy's, Greenside, kind of places like that.
I played PG's about 4 times or something.
We looked to, especially with the EP coming out, we were looking to get gigs booked as much as possible, and then the last month, this month and the following months, just to hopefully get out there to as much people as possible and hand the EP as much.
It was good for us just to get out the new people,
Well, how would you describe your sound? And what's your influences?
We try, our style's like, self-style, we think it's a bit dirtier than other things. We always try and better ourselves and try and make it different from what everybody else is doing at the moment.
The example to be played isn't exactly a reflection on that, though.
The song you've got to play is probably the least of the band, because the rest of the tunes are totally different for that.
No, I did want to play Keeping Up Appearances, like I said, but it's got a couple of naughty words on it. You can't have that in Kingdom Cuts, for God's sake. What bands influenced you guys growing up? I'm guessing British indie guitar bands.
Yeah, definitely
Oasis,
bands of the 90s.
Just strict Oasis for me,
I'm a massive Black River Motorcycle Club fan. And when we got together, that's when I really was listening to them loads, getting right into them, so for me, that's my biggest influence.
I think it was Strokes as well.
Strokes, Oasis, PMC, Stone Roses.
We're going to play Where Does the Time Go? Can you tell us the story about that? We wrote it, and what's it about?
It was the second one that
we ever jammed, I wrote the lyrics and the guitar and that, but it's just a bit, it's pretty self-explanatory. Where does the time go? It's just how often do you ask yourself, where does the time go? Where do you say it for?
It's kind of got a bit of a Britpoppy feel about it, I think.
I think we get best response from that song.
Magna, where did the name come from that? Because that's the most outrageous name I've heard.
Roy, our guitarist, is a well-read man, studying journalist, and he just came across it in a novel about, it was about a journalist, right?
Yes. I can't mind what it was called now, it's terrible.
The guy's second name was Boot, and his residence was Magna, and read it coming to practice one day, told us, and we instantly went for it, because we were always looking for something a bit different.
It is completely different though, isn't it?
It was a week before one of our gigs though, and we, at Capitol in Glasgow, we didn't have a name, so we had to go with the first thing we got, and we all liked it at the time anyway.
I'd suggested it thinking it would be shut up, and when I said it, they all just went for it, and even after I was like, you sure you want to call us that?
Right, well thanks for coming in guys, we're going to play Where Does the Time Go? Cheers again.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers.